Right. Now, motivation. I think the earlier chapter is more important, and you need to know what the theories are, how to apply them, and what are the limitations. I think that's more important compared to this chapter. This chapter I'll just go through very quickly. Now, MBO, management by objectives. This is just how organizations implement that goal-setting theory we covered in the earlier chapter. Well, this is how organizations practice MBO, management by objectives. And simply put, let me just give you an example to make it simple. Say a university wants to be ranked in the top 300 or 500, okay? Top 500 in the world. So that's the mission and the overall objective. And with at each level, at each department, each college, and right down to each individual, it gets more and more detailed. So perhaps at the individual level, what does that mean? What does the individual have to do in order that the university can be in the top 500 ranking? Well, each lecturer, say, must publish in at least 2 journals a year. So that's how you translate from a very broad goal into how to operationalize, how to carry it out. So that's all I'm going to say about MBO. And all this is like trickle down, all this is by agreement. The individual lecturers, they have an agreement with the dean has agreement with the chancellor, and so on. Why MBOs can sometimes fail? Unrealistic expectations about MBO results. Okay, we're tying it now again to, remember the expectancy theory? When you set impossible targets, people will not do the work. So that's why MBO can fail, because you have unrealistic expectations of what MBO can achieve. And remember expectancy theory, I said, in order to make people believe that if they put in the effort, they can achieve the standard, you need to supply resources. Well, if there's a lack of commitment in the terms of like they don't give the resources, then people will not achieve. So you can see now what different theories are coming into play. Generally, research has shown that if employees are involved in the decision-making process, they are more motivated to carry on because they feel that they made the decision themselves. Okay? So that's all we need to know here. Again, participative management, just some of the words. You don't need to know about work councils, board representative. It's all about, when you involve or when you allow employees to participate in decision-making, they become more motivated. Quality circles is started in the factories where workers themselves meet after work to discuss on how to reduce costs and improve productivity. Because workers themselves, they know how to, because they're doing the work, they probably know how to cut down on wastage and how to improve productivity. Very successful in Japan. And never mind, this is a fancy flowchart. Okay, other ways organizations motivate employees through employee stock ownership plans, where employees can buy shares in the company at the original price. Not at the market price, but the original price, which was cheaper. So when employees buy some shares in that organization, they feel that they are part owners. So if they work harder, then the shares go up. That's the theory behind it. Pay motivates, as we said. So you have piece rate pay plans, variable pay programs, where piece rate is for each unit that the worker produced, they get paid the amount. Or like, for example, commission, life insurance salesperson, for each insurance that they sell, then they get a certain payment for that. So that motivates. So pay motivates basically. Profit sharing plans, sometimes organizations, they have this plan whereby when that company makes a profit, then a portion, not all, a portion of the profits for that year are distributed among the workers. Again, that's an incentive that to tell the workers that, if the company profits, you profit as well. And gain sharing is similar to that. There's some fine distinctions which you don't need to know for this course. Skill-based pay plans, basically, often in factories where people are paid according to the number of jobs they are able to do. So the more jobs they're able to do, the more pay they get. But the potential problem with that is that some of the jobs might be obsolete or redundant. So I've just summarized the entire slide. So that's the only thing we need to know about the drawbacks of skill-based pay. Now, flexible benefits. Remember when we talked about Vroom, the expectancy theory by Vroom, the expectancy theory. Remember the third requirement. If a person values something, then that's the thing that you should give that person. So if a person values, if the person doesn't value overseas holiday, don't give that person overseas holiday, give that person money instead. If it's a single mother with children, they don't want a holiday overseas, they want the money. Flexible benefits operates like a menu where you can choose up to a certain number of benefits that you want and leave out the benefits that you don't want. Like for example, school education. You've got no children, so don't choose that. Choose something else.
But I mean, which organization is activating this kind of?
Motivating professionals. Professionals like lawyers, accountants, engineers. The main thing is autonomy. I think professionals, they desire autonomy and also challenging projects in order for them to grow. Like for example, when I was a lawyer, I think I value the chance to gain experience. That's very important as a lawyer, as an engineer, as a doctor, being able to get the projects or the jobs where we learn and get more experience. That's very valuable for professionals. Part-time workers, contingent is part-time workers. Well, you just give them opportunity for being full-time. Like in a lot of universities, they've got part-time lecturers. So ultimately, they become full-time lecturers. So that's the motivation. And this is the last one here. Motivating people doing highly repetitive tasks. Recruit and select employees that fit that job. Some people, the general thinking is that people like variety in their work. But there are some people who just like to do one thing over and over again. So you choose that people to do the repetitive jobs. And the last one, this one is quite a big literacy. This one, job characteristics model. Now, all the while we've been talking about how to motivate the person. Now, this theory is interesting in that this one is looking at how to make the jobs, how to design the jobs in such a way that anyone who sits in that job will become motivated. So this is looking at the job rather than the person. So whoever goes in there becomes motivated. And we have, first of all, the core job dimensions. So when designing a job, you must have sufficient skill variety, task identity, task significance. You must have sufficient autonomy and feedback. Now this was the time, this theory was developed at a time when, you've heard of Frederick Taylor, scientific management, when jobs were specialized, became so, when the jobs were divided and became so specialized that you just do one thing over and over again and became monotonous. Well, this theory came at that time to say that, look, if you have too little variety, people will become bored. So you should increase the skill variety. Task identity, when you just get a person to put one screw into a hole, they don't see what they're doing. They can't see what they're making or building. So task identity, you must be able to know what is it that you're making. Like you're making a LCD screen, or you're making a table. It's a whole thing rather than just a small portion. And task significance is how important you feel your task is to society as a whole. Do you feel that your task is just useless? Or do you feel that your task helps make this world a better place? Obviously, if you feel that your task makes this world a better place, you will have high task significance and you'll be more motivated to carry out the job. So when you got these three, you'll have these critical psychological states in the form of experience, meaningfulness of work. You feel that your work is meaningful. And then it will result in high motivation, high quality, high satisfaction, and low absenteeism and turnover. Now with these two also, autonomy. Again, during the Frederick Taylor's time, people don't have the decision or the freedom to decide what to do, when to do it. They were told exactly what to do. But autonomy or freedom to decide what and when to do would give a person a feeling of more responsibility for the outcomes of the work. Because if you can decide how or when to do it, don't you feel more responsible for the output? I think so, right? And feedback. If a person is given feedback about how well or what they're not doing right, would their performance also improve? I think so, right? So people need to be told, people need to be given some freedom, and people need to be given some feedback on how they're doing so that they can continue what they're doing right and stop what they're doing wrong and do something else. So that's essentially the job characteristics model. Is by addressing these three things, you can have these critical psychological states in the job holder and you will have these positive outcomes. That's the job characteristics model is by a person called Hackman and Oldham. Hackman and Oldham. So that's the last one. Now, just one last distinction. When Hackman and Oldham first came up with their theory, they said that more skill is better, more autonomy is better, more feedback is better. But later on they realized that up to a certain point only, right? Too much autonomy is no good, too much skill is also no good. So they revised their theory to say not more is better, but the optimal amount is the best. Not too much, not too little. There's some calculation that you can make, and that's it. Okay. Any questions? Okay, thank you.